Hello, good evening, everybody. Continuing with our reading of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, we were reading chapter 6 or lesson 6, work for learning, work to learn and not to earn money. Work for the sake of learning and not for the sake of money. Money will come, but you have to work for the sake of learning more and more and developing more and more skills. In the previous session, we had read about how the rich dad of Robert Kiyosaki did not get caught up into the union mess, labor union mess, and not got influenced by that union activities. We will continue reading from there. Personally, I take no sides because I can see the need for and the benefits of both sides. If you do as school recommends, become highly specialized, then seek union protection. For example, had I continued with my flying career, I would have sought a company that had a strong pilots union. Why? Because my life would be dedicated to learning a skill that was valuable in only one industry. If I were pushed out of that industry, my life's skills would not be as valuable to another industry. A displaced senior pilot with 100,000 hours of heavy airline transport time, earning $150,000 a year, would have a hard time finding an equivalent high paying job teaching in school. Skills do not necessarily transfer from industry to industry. Skills the pilots are paid for in the airline industry are not as important in, say, the school system. The same is true even for doctors today. With all the changes in medicine, many medical specialists are needing to conform to medical organizations such as HMOs. School teachers definitely need to be union members. Today in America, the teachers' union is the largest and the richest labor union of all. The NEA, the National Education Association, has tremendous political clout. Teachers need the protection of their union because their skills are also of limited value to an industry outside of education. So the rule of thumb is highly specialized, then unionized. It's the smart thing to do. When I ask the classes I teach, how many of you can cook a better hamburger than McDonald's? Almost all the students raise their hands. I then ask, so if most of you can cook a better hamburger, how come McDonald's makes more money than you? The answer is obvious. McDonald's is excellent at business systems. The reason so many talented people are poor is because they focus on building a better hamburger and know little to nothing about business systems. A friend of mine in Hawaii is a great artist. He makes a sizable amount of money. One day, his mother's attorney called to tell him that she had left him $35,000. That is what was left of her estate after the attorney and the government took their shares. Immediately, he saw an opportunity to increase his business by using some of this money to advertise. 2 months later, his first four color full page ad appeared in an expensive magazine that targeted the very rich. The ad ran for 3 months. He received no replies from the ad, and all of his inheritance is now gone. He now wants to sue the magazine for misrepresentation. This is a common case of someone who can build a beautiful hamburger but knows little about business. When I asked him what he learned, his only reply was advertising salespeople are crooks. I then asked him if he would be willing to take a course in sales and a course in direct marketing. His reply, I don't have the time and I don't want to waste my money. The world is filled with talented poor people. All too often, they are poor or struggle financially or earn less than they are capable of, not because of what they know, but because of what they do not know. They focus on perfecting their skills at building a better hamburger rather than the skills of selling and delivering the hamburger. Maybe McDonald's does not make the best hamburger, but they are the best at selling and delivering a basic average burger. Poor dad wanted me to specialize. That was his view on how to be paid more. Even after being told by the governor of Hawaii that he could no longer work in state government, my educated dad continued to encourage me to get specialized. Educated dad then took up the cause of the teachers' union, campaigning for further protection and benefits for these highly skilled and educated professionals. We argued often, but I know he never agreed that over specialization is what caused the need for union protection. He never understood that the more specialized you become, the more you are trapped and dependent on that specialty. Rich Dad advised that Mike and I groom ourselves. Many corporations do the same thing. They find a young, bright student just out of business school and begin grooming that person to someday take over the company. So these bright young employees do not specialize in one department. They are moved from department to department to learn all the aspects of business systems. The rich often groom their children or the children of others. By doing so, their children gain an overall knowledge of the operations of the business and how the various departments interrelate. For the World War II generation, it was considered bad to skip from company to company. Today, it is considered smart. Since people will skip from company to company rather than seek greater specialization in skills, why not seek to learn more than to earn? In the short term, it may earn you less, but it will pay dividends in the long term. So, what Robert Kiyosaki is talking about is a very simple aspect that knowing about multiple things is more beneficial to survive than knowing a lot of things about only one or two things. The more you specialize in one thing and are unaware of the other things, the more is the risk of not being able to have a stable job once you lose that, or if you lose that. If you want to build businesses, it is important that you become aware of all the aspects of business and try to learn as much as possible about every aspect of the business rather than just focusing on your product. So he gives the example of many people being able to make better burgers than McDonald's do, but McDonald's is making more money because they know how to package, sell, and distribute even an average burger. The ability to sell and distribute even an average product is the ability to succeed financially. What is the use if you have the best product and you don't know how to sell it? What is the use if you have the best item and you don't know how to make it reach the people? There is no point about having the best thing, but having the ability to sell anything is the ability that can make you successful, is what Robert Kiyosaki is talking about. The main management skills needed for success are management of cash flow, management of systems, management of people. So, three things need to be managed if you want to be successful. Three management skills are management of cash flow, management of systems, and management of people. The most important specialized skills are sales and marketing. The ability to sell, to communicate to another human being, be it a customer, employee, boss, spouse, or child, is the base skill of personal success. Communication skills such as writing, speaking, and negotiating are crucial to life of success. These are skills I work on constantly, attending courses or buying educational resources to expand my knowledge. See, Robert Kiyosaki is also talking about education. But what education is he talking about? He is talking about the education that will make a person be able to sell better, to communicate to another human being, and to convince another human being to agree to your point of view. What is sales? Sales is the ability to make another person agree to your point of view, whether it is a customer, an employee, boss, spouse, or child, whoever it is. The ability to convince another person to agree to your point of view is the skill of personal success. Those who have that skill will become successful personally. And also, the ability to write well, to speak well, and to negotiate are crucial to life of success. To have a successful life, one needs to have the ability to write well, speak well, and negotiate well. So basically, the ability to communicate, the ability to use language effectively. So Robert says that he constantly works on developing these skills. He even spends on them, buys educational resources or courses to develop this skill and expand his knowledge. As I have mentioned, my educated dad worked harder and harder the more competent he became. He also became more trapped the more specialized he got. Although his salary went up, his choices diminished. Soon after he was locked out of government work, he found out how vulnerable he really was professionally. It is like professional athletes who suddenly are injured or are too old to play. Their once high paying position is gone and they have limited skills to fall back on. I think that is why my educated dad sided so much with the unions after that. He realized how much a union would have benefited him. Rich dad encouraged Mike and me to know a little about a lot. He encouraged us to work with people smarter than we were and to bring smart people together to work as a team. Today, it would be called a synergy of professional specialities. So, what Robert and Mike's rich dad advised them: learn to work with people who are smarter than you. Employ people who are smarter than you. Bring the smarter people together and make them work together. That is a very good skill. You cannot be the most intelligent person in your company. Then you will be the end of the progression of your company. You will be the limit of your company's growth. So always try to have people who are more intelligent than you around you so that you continue to grow as an individual and you will build your organization better. You should have the ability to bring together intelligent people and make them work together. Today, I meet ex school teachers earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. They earn that much because they have specialized skills in their field as well as other skills. They can teach as well as sell and market. I know of no other skills to be more important than selling and marketing. The skills of selling and marketing are difficult for most people, primarily due to their fear of rejection. The better you are at communicating, negotiating, and handling your fear of rejection, the easier life is. Just as I advised that newspaper writer who wanted to become a best selling author, I advise anyone else today. So, Robert says, two skills are very, very important. The two skills that are very important for success are the skills of selling and marketing, to be able to sell and market something. Most of the people run away from selling and marketing because there is a possibility of rejection or high possibility probability of rejection. So the fear of rejection is what make people run away from sales and marketing. So the better one is at communication, negotiation, and handling the fear of rejection, the easier life will become. Think about this. If you are capable of communicating whatever you want to communicate, if you are capable of bringing together differing opinions on a common platform, and if you are not bothered about what people will say or what rejection you will get, you will be able to make more success in life and your life will be easier. Being technically specialized has its strengths as well as its weaknesses. I have friends who are geniuses but they cannot communicate effectively with other human beings, and as a result their earnings are pitiful. I advise them to just spend a year learning to sell. Even if they earn nothing, their communication skills will improve, and that is priceless. In addition to being good learners, sellers and marketers, we need to be good teachers as well as good students. To be truly rich, we need to be able to give as well as to receive. In case of financial or professional struggle, there is often a lack of giving and receiving. I know many people who are poor because they are neither good students nor good teachers. So Robert says, it is not just enough to be good learners, sellers, and marketers. You also need to be good teachers and good students. The more you learn, the more you grow. So both of my dads were generous men. Both made it a practice to give first. Teaching was one of their ways of giving. The more they gave, the more they received. One glaring difference was in the giving of money. My rich dad gave lots of money away. He gave to his church, to charities, and to his foundation. He knew that to receive money, you had to give money. Giving money is the secret to most great wealthy families. That is why there are organizations like the Rockefeller Foundation and the Ford Foundation. These are organizations designed to take their wealth and increase it, as well as give it away in perpetuity. My educated dad always said, when I have some extra money, I'll give it. The problem was that there was never any extra. So he worked harder to draw more money in rather than focus on the most important law of money: give and you shall receive. Instead, he believed in receive and then you give. In conclusion, I became both dads. One part of me is a hardcore capitalist who loves the game of money and money making money. The other part is a socially responsible teacher who is deeply concerned with this ever widening gap between the haves and have nots. I personally hold the archaic educational system primarily responsible for this growing gap. So, in the end of this chapter, that is chapter 6, Robert Kiyosaki says the foundational or the fundamental problem lies with the archaic educational system, the very ancient educational system which has not refined or become better. The education system which will teach you a lot of wrong ideas, which will not teach you about money, the educational system that will not give you financial education, will not give you opportunities to develop your financial intelligence, which discourages people from having discussions and discourses about money. Such kind of an education system, Robert says, is responsible for the growing gap between the poor and the rich. Poor people are becoming poor and the rich people are becoming rich because poor people are influenced by the education system which continuously works towards making people slaves, and rich people learn to overcome the limitations of the education system and create their own learning path. So this completes our reading of chapter 6 or the lesson 6. Work to learn, not just to earn money or not just for money. We'll continue to the next chapter, chapter 7. Chapter 7 is overcoming obstacles. Overcoming obstacles. How do we overcome obstacles? The primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. The primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. Once people have studied and become financially literate, they may still face roadblocks to becoming financially independent. There are five main reasons why financially literate people may still not develop abundant asset columns that could produce a large cash flow. The five reasons are fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. These are the five reasons why somebody who is in a job will not be able to um, develop financial literacy and spend on overcoming financial roadblocks to become financially independent. So the five reasons are fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. Overcoming fear. I have never met anyone who really likes losing money. Everybody wants to gain money. Who likes losing money? All my years, and in all my years, I have never met a rich person who has never lost money. But I have met a lot of poor people who have never lost a dime investing. That is. So Robert says he knows that nobody wants to lose money. Nobody wants to lose money. Everybody wants to keep everything they earn. But he has never met a rich person who has never lost money. But also he has never met a poor person who have never lost a dime investing. All right. So rich people have lost money, poor people have held on to the money that they have earned. How is that? The fear of losing money is real. Everyone has it, even the rich. But it's not having fear that is the problem. It's how you handle fear. It's how you handle losing. It's how you handle failure that makes the difference in one's life. The primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage that fear. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to be a coward when it comes to money. You can still be rich. We are all heroes at something and cowards at something else. My friend's wife is an emergency room nurse. When she sees blood, she flies into action. When I mention investing, she runs away. When I see blood, I don't run, I pass out. My rich dad understood phobias about money. Some people are terrified of snakes, some people are terrified about losing money. Both are phobias, he would say. So his solution to the phobia of losing money was this little rhyme. If you hate risk and worry, start early. If you hate risk and worry, start early. If you start young, it's easier to be rich. I won't go into it here, but there is a staggering difference between a person who starts investing at age 20 versus age 30. The purchase of Manhattan Island is said to be one of the greatest bargains of all time. New York was purchased for $24 in trinkets and beads. Yet, if that $24 had been invested at 8% annually, that $24 would have been worth more than $28 trillion by 1995. Manhattan could be repurchased with money left over to buy much of Los Angeles. But what if you don't have much time left or would like to retire early? How do you handle the fear of losing money? My poor dad did nothing. He simply avoided the issue, refusing to discuss the subject. My rich dad, on the other hand, recommended that I think like a Texan. I like Texas and Texans, he used to say. In Texas, everything is bigger. When Texans win, they win big. And when they lose, it's spectacular. They like losing, I asked. Do they like losing? I asked. That's not what I'm saying. Nobody likes losing. Show me a happy loser and I'll show you a loser, said Rich Dad. It's a Texan's attitude towards risk, reward, and failure I'm talking about. It's how they handle life. They live it big. Not like most of the people around here, living like roaches when it comes to money, terrified that someone will shine a light on them, and whimpering when the grocery clerk short changes them a quarter. Rich Dad went on. What I like best is the Texan attitude. They are proud when they win and they brag when they. Texans have a saying, if you are going to go broke, go big. You don't want to admit you went broke over a duplex. He constantly told Mike and me that the greatest reason for lack of financial success was because most people played it too safe. People are so afraid of losing that they lose, were his words. Fran Tarkenton, a one time great NFL quarterback, says it's still another way. Winning means being unafraid to lose. Winning means being unafraid to lose. That means if you are not afraid to lose, you are winning. In my own life, I have noticed that winning usually follows losing. Before I finally learned to ride a bike, I first fell down many times. I have never met a golfer who has never lost a golf ball. I have never met people who have fallen in love who have never had their hearts broken. And I have never met someone rich who has never lost money. So, for most people, the reason they don't win financially is because the pain of losing money is far greater than the joy of being rich. Another saying in Texas is everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Most people dream of becoming rich, but are terrified of losing money, so they never get to heaven. Rich Dad used to tell Mike and me stories about his trips to Texas. If you really want to learn the attitude of how to handle risk, losing, and failure, go to San Antonio and visit the Alamo. The Alamo is a great story of brave people who chose to fight, knowing there was no hope of success. They chose to die instead of surrendering. It's an inspiring story worthy of study. Nonetheless, it's still a tragic military defeat. They got their butts kicked. So, how do Texans handle failure? They still shout, remember the Alamo. Mike and I heard this story a lot. He always told us this story when he was about to go into a big deal and he was nervous. After he had done all his due diligence and it was time to put up or shut up, he told us this story. Every time he was afraid of making a mistake or losing money, he told us this story. It gave him strength, for it reminded him that he could always turn a financial loss into a financial win. Rich Dad knew that failure would only make him stronger and smarter. It's not that he wanted to lose, he just knew who he was and how he would take a loss. He would take a loss and make it a win. That's what made him a winner and others losers. It gave him the courage to cross the line when others backed out. That's what I like Texan. That's why I like Texans so much. He would say, they took a great failure and turned it into inspiration, as well a tourist destination that makes them millions. But probably his words that mean the most to me today are these. Texans don't bury their failures, they get inspired by them. They take their failures and turn them into rallying cries. Failure inspires Texans to become winners. But that formula is not just the formula for Texans, it's the formula for all winners. I've said that falling off my bike was part of learning to ride. I remember falling off only made me more determined to learn to ride, not less. I also said that I have never met a golfer who has never lost a ball. For top professional golfers, losing a ball or a tournament provides the inspiration to be better, to practice harder, to study more. That's what makes them better. For winners, losing inspires them. For losers, losing defeats them. I like to quote John D. Rockefeller, who said, I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity. So, this is a good place to stop for the day. This is a good place to stop for the day. So, in this part that we have studied so far, Robert Kiyosaki talks about the people of Texas. The people of Texas, he says, have a great attitude towards how they handle their success and failure. If they succeed, they celebrate big. If they fail, also they announce it and celebrate. And that makes them capable of facing the next challenge with determination. They get inspired from their failures. They get inspired from their failures and determined to move forward and tackle the challenge further. So, it is not losing that makes them go back, it is losing that makes them work harder. Winners, for winners, losing will inspire them, and for losers, losing defeats them. You need to remember, you have not lost until you accept defeat. You have not lost until you accept defeat. So, if somebody is a winner, losing will inspire them to perform better. And if somebody is a loser by nature, that will make them get defeated. Losing will defeat them. So, to conclude, let's look at John D. Rockefeller's statement, who said, I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity. John Rockefeller says he always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity. So, what does this mean? Every crisis comes with an opportunity, every problem comes with a solution, every challenge comes with the points to tackle it. So, with every failure, there is a success hidden behind it. Intelligent people are those who will convert disaster into an opportunity and progress from there. That means, whatever is the situation you are in, whatever is the surroundings you are in, however bad is your financial status, however is your income or expenditure, your assets and liabilities, whatever it is, if you develop the ability to look for opportunities even in disaster, then you are bound to progress. You are bound to succeed and excel. So, with this powerful thought that we have to try to turn every disaster into an opportunity, and the thought that winners get inspired by losing, and it is only losers who get defeated and run away after they lose. So before going to bed, think about this. Tell yourself that I am a winner and I will not get defeated by losing. I'll get inspired if I lose. But I'll fight. I will fight and do everything that is possible within my capacity to overcome the challenge, to overcome the problems, to solve the problems and find solutions and move ahead in life. But in case if I fail, I don't lose hope. I don't get defeated. I will get inspired. I will work more and make sure the next time I am faced with a similar situation or a challenge or any challenge, I'll tackle it. So, making a determined effect, determined effort, a determined assertion in your mind that you will not give up and you will become stronger with every failure. You will try to look for opportunities in every defeat, in every crisis, and not sit in a corner and cry about the disaster or the crisis, but look for opportunities, use the opportunities, make good of those opportunities, and progress. So, two mantras to go to bed with. I'm a winner. I will get inspired even if I lose, and I don't give up. I will take every opportunity and I will make opportunities even out of disasters. I'll make opportunity out of disaster and I will get inspired by failures also. So, with this, let's conclude the session for the day. We will meet again in the next session to continue reading the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Stay inspired, stay knowledgeable, continue to learn, and continue to get inspired from failures. Focus on increasing your knowledge, focus on becoming more and more financially intelligent, be on the path pursuing financial freedom continuously, and we all will reach a state of financial freedom, and then we will continue to learn even if we are financially free. So, with this, we will conclude the session for the day. See you all in the next session. Good night.